I'm going to say this. Welcome to Monday Masterclass. We have been doing these for, I think, 2 years now this month. I think October was 2 years ago that this idea came along. And we've heard from a lot of really amazing leaders in our company, Monday after Monday, month after month, for years. And this, what was it, Beck? You decided 2 months ago, September. I think she decided September, October, November, and December, we were going to focus really heavy on gold. So our Monday master's classes were going to be really centered around understanding the rank of gold, understanding what it took to get there. And we've heard from a lot of people who just went to gold school here in Dallas for the last couple of weeks. We've heard from Fast Start Golds. We've kind of run the gamut, but this is a call I personally am really excited about. I think Beck's really excited about. We have talked about having Megan on. Megan, I don't think you've ever done this, but I think we've messaged you. I'm not kidding. Probably
He's been
like,
on our list for like 2 years, basically.
yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure it's either been like Megan and Justin. Like, if we can get them together, it doesn't work. Like, they have a whole lot going on, which just reminds you that one, diamonds aren't sitting around waiting for things to happen. There's a lot scheduled and happening in their personal lives. And it's so great. I have talked to corporate before and they're like, well, why didn't you get on the call? I'm like, because you told me 3 days ago it was happening. Like, we got life happening out here. Like, there is so much happening for all of us. So the fact that we have actually gotten Megan on a video call with all of, I feel like I'm just getting my own little treat. So I don't even kind of care if you love this call or not. I'm excited about this call. Megan and Becky and I were talking this morning, like, Megan's someone that we both admire huge. We have mad respect for, and yet we don't actually get to know. And I have a feeling, based on knowing, like, kind of watching Megan like work, is that she's always with her team. So whether we're all on a trip, she's with her team. If we're at Gold School, she's sitting at a table with her team. Like, she's literally surrounded by her people that she is pouring into at all times. And so I'm excited to just get to hear your story. I want to hear like how your business even started, where you kind of are in life right now, because I think it probably has changed from where you started to where you are now. And then we're going to dive into gold. You get to introduce Brandie, kind of tell about her story, and then kind of how y'all have worked so well together to build up an amazing leg. So, okay, Megan, go for it.
Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. All right. Well, who feels like Mondays are weekend recovery days? Anybody? I have two fairies at my house right now. One is my daughter and one's my son's girlfriend, and they are cleaning the house this morning. And so I was so excited. So I'm happy to be on with you guys. And man, it's been a crazy almost 10 years. I can't believe it's been almost 10 years. Definitely in a different spot now than we were 10 years ago. My kids are 10 years older. So my oldest is 19. Our youngest is 4. I've had two plexus pregnancies, grown to diamond in that time. It's been wild and crazy. And the things that my kids are doing now versus what they were doing 10 years ago, just life changes, right? But man, you guys, if I could just encourage you that network marketing, specifically plexus, one, I feel like is a hidden gem. Not enough people know about the opportunity piece, and it is literally the American dream. Man, like 12-ish, 11, 12 years ago, we were praying for a way for Justin to be home more. Like he worked road construction. He had been in the military for 12 years. And then we were starting to have our family, and a lot of the kids were boys. And so we were like, how do we do this? Like, it's not fun to be basically single mom and momming it, especially with boys. Like, there's just something about having even just dad's presence, right? And so we were in this gratefully discontent spot in life in general. And then I got super sick, and we didn't know what in the world was going on. Finally figured out our house had mold in it, and we ended up remediating it. Almost had the house paid off, went $40,000 in debt to fix the house stuff, moved out in with my parents with 4 kids. It was a wild time. And I'm so thankful that multiple people told me about plexus. I actually had heard about plexus from Shoshana, 11, 12 years ago, and was like, no, thanks. I mean, I looked into it, but I was like, it looks kind of like, I mean, weight loss. I didn't really understand what it was, and I wasn't a personal friend of hers at that time. And so, but I started to hear more people talking about it. And I had probably I don't know, 5 to 10 different friends along the way say, Megan, you need to look at Plexus. So it like kept coming around. So if you have people in your life, a Megan Goff that you're like, oh my word, she'd be amazing, this would totally be up her alley, and she tells you no for 2 years, it's okay. There's still hope. So anyways, long story short, I finally said yes after almost 2 years of hearing about it. And really, it's just started for products. Like my vision was just, I've got to get myself healthy. And I looked extensively at the products, was very thankful they were more comprehensive and less expensive than what my naturopath was having me do. So it was like win-win. We're not just addressing gut health, we're going to be addressing blood sugar balance, hormones, and all of that. And so I ended up really, I was very hopeful, like, because I had followed Shoshana for 10 years and like was privy to her health stuff. And I just was, and then Kristen and just different people I saw, like, okay, these are solid products. I trust my own research. I trust other people that I've known in health and wellness circles for years. And so it gave me like that extra oomph for sticking with the products. I mean, I had 4 to 6 months of detox. Our 4-year-old was covered in eczema, and I put him on probiotic 5. It wiped his eczema out in a month, 1 month. So, and really the reason I started to share was simply that I felt like I had cracked the code and more moms needed to know about the probiotic. That was the extent kind of my vision at that point. And I had so many fears. Like I was so freaking scared of people thinking I was just trying to sell them something. But honestly, I was already referring people to my local Amish health food store for supplements. People were coming. So I was already doing it. So it took me a little bit of time to be like, okay, well, how is this different than that? Okay, it's not different. I'm just getting compensated. Okay, win. That's perfect. And so I slowly, got a couple customers. After a couple of months, I went silver. So I wasn't a fast starter, so to speak, but my vision was growing. Our vision was growing. And so I went silver at the very end of April of 2015, and something happened when I went silver. I was like, game on, I'm going gold. And actually, how do I could I get to emerald in a year? I was like looking at the compensation plan and like thinking, oh man, like this is more than helping a couple people at church. Like this has the potential to like crazy blow up, like in a good way, because I understood how the products were formulated. I'm such a nerd. I went and like researched all the products and was like, okay, my circle needs this. Like, and I knew for a fact I could help 20 people. I knew I could get 20 people on the products. I was thinking like by my year anniversary, I could have like a little customer base of 20 people. Little did I know how many people needed gut health products and how many people were like totally open to me recommending things for them. And so we really didn't know what we were doing, except that we liked the products that were working for us and it made sense to just tell people. So we didn't really have a strategy outside of that. We kind of just threw it out to everybody, brought a lot of people in as customers, and then like they ended up converting over to sharing ambassadors as they started to see wins themselves. So it was like this huge, beautiful thing of like everyone just started to share with their friends and everyone was excited. And I think once Justin, he was very skeptical. If you hear him tell a story, it's hilarious. But he was like, is this legal? Like he had all the questions, but he was totally in for the products. And so he just started to share with people at work. He actually started researching the industry of network marketing, which is so interesting that he thought to dive into that, but he started to realize like titans of the business world were giving their thumbs up on network marketing. Warren Buffett, Donald Trump, Robert Kiyosaki, like a whole handful of people were like, yes, it's a win. Like, but you need to make sure that the company you're with has really great products, a great compensation plan, and have integrity and good leadership. And thankfully for us, our first and only experience in network marketing has been a huge home run. And like, we're so passionate, even still 10 years in, to tell people, not just about the products, but also about the opportunity. And we live in a really tiny town, less than 1,000 people, like no stoplights, brick roads, like tiny town. And not everybody, like even in our town or even in our small church, does Plexus, and that's okay. Like it's totally fine. We've branched out and have teams all over the United States, and it's been such a gift, and I'm so thankful. And so once I went silver, then I was like, I want to go gold. So I signed Justin up as like my last person to go gold. I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, babe, you helped me go gold today. I think that was in June. So it was a couple months later that I went gold. And so really, I didn't bring people in for the business. I brought people in for the products, helped them have a good product experience, and then they started sharing from there. I'm way more strategic now with how I grow my team, and I'm not afraid to ask people about the business opportunity. But I do feel like there are two businesses within our Plexus business. So we have our customer client base, right? Repeat people, well, everyone comes in as a VIP to begin with anyways. And then we have our team building, the network marketing piece, which is, you're developing leaders, you're growing teams within your team, right? And so, and really, sometimes I have felt like, oh man, did we do it wrong? No, it's totally fine. Like how we did it was totally fine. We threw it out to everybody. Some did, some didn't. It's totally fine. Some people, stuck with the products all along. Some people also started the business, and and we still have people coming in for both. And I just think it's so interesting, like to have just the concept of bringing people in as customers, helping them have a great product experience, and then converting them over. And I was reading a book recently, and it was saying that the companies with the longest longevity actually are not opportunity driven or focused. They're actually customer driven. And I think that's so interesting with the way we built our Plexus business, is that we have done a lot of that converting over, bringing a lot of customers in and then converting them to brand ambassadors. But I will say, I was talking with Jordan Roddenberry, in the last year, and she was just saying her team demographics are different, that she brought every Ruby, level 1 Ruby and above, she personally recruited for the business, which I think is so fascinating and so awesome. And, I'm in a season now where like, I want to find leaders, I want to develop leaders, and that is the goal, right? But I've decided, you know what? I do bring a lot of customers in and help them have a great experience. And I'm fine with that. Like I'm fine growing that bucket of customer base. And I think a lot of us, when we start Plexus, we don't necessarily, like me, I didn't have network marketing experience. There weren't as many systems in place for me to learn both of the skills, right? Knowing how to, invite people to do the business opportunity, as well as, invite people to try the products. And so I feel like I'm more balanced in my skills. But I would just encourage you, like sometimes people like me that came in for products and that didn't like have a business brain necessarily, we feel more comfortable sharing products first. And it's totally fine if that's the first skill that you develop, is learning to talk to people, getting over that fear, right? And then being willing to bring in customers, helping them have a great product experience. It's really important to retain the customers that we get started, helping them have a product experience, helping to troubleshoot on their products. And then for the ones that are willing to share, help them get a +1, like help them do it with a buddy. Like they don't have to want a business in order for them to share with a friend, or even go senior silver or go gold. I mean, how many people organically get to gold just by sharing with their friends because they love to tell their friends about what they love, right? So it doesn't have to be like only one way. I feel like there's different ways depending on what bucket people are in, because some people are the customer bucket and they might hang out in that customer bucket for a while. My friend Jenny has been on my team for probably like 7, 8, 9 years. She's a labor and delivery nurse. She recently went silver like a week ago. She's been on the team for like 7 years. And so you just never know like what's going to click for people. And, is she going to go beyond silver? I don't know yet, but I'm going to talk with her and share more about the opportunity to see like, hey, do we want to go to senior silver and then work on going gold? I mean, even if she doesn't want a massive giant business and doesn't want to go diamond, she could still totally go gold, right? And so I feel like we have the ball in our court to vision cast for our customers, vision cast for our potentials about the opportunity, because it is literally the American dream. And newsflash, I heard someone say this in the last couple of months, network marketing is alive and well. And in economic uncertainty, it does really, really well. So I would highly recommend really filling your funnels with new potentials, both for the business and the products. And don't be scared to reach out to people about the opportunity. Maybe they're going to come in with a product experience first. I don't know, but think about, like, statistically speaking, 7 out of 10 people have gut health issues and don't know what to do about it. So we're not having to create the need, right? And then the statistics are crazy high. I can't remember. Maybe someone can remember what the exact number was. I want to say it was like 84%, but I don't know the exact numbers. But essentially, like 7 out of 10, again, of people, if they knew they could make $300 in their first 90 days in network marketing, would say yes. I feel like they maybe shared that at convention or some sort of big corporate event somewhat recently. And so I think that's so interesting. So like, again, we're not having to create the need, and the chances are good that people that we're talking with day in, day out probably have thought about having their own business at some level, or would be even open to the opportunity with what we have with Plexus. They just need you to talk to them about it and believe it for them. I think sometimes we get so stuck in our brain, like, oh my word, what are they going to think of me? I think that anyone that we ask to join us in the business, even if their answer is no, they would feel really honored that we asked them, because we think of them as someone that would be amazing at this, right? Even if they are like, oh my word, I don't have time, or not right now, but you have planted the seed, and then that seed can grow at some point. And so I'm a big encourager and proponent of like, engage your network, because you never know. Maybe it's 2 years down the road that someone's like, hey, you were the very first person that reached out to me about the Plexus opportunity. Things have changed since you chatted with me, and I'm coming back to you because you were the first person that shared with me. I can't tell you how many times that's happened to me. So engage with people, even if their answer is not yet, is totally fine. So, anyways, getting to gold. I mean, I feel like there's been some different things that we've tried in the last couple of years that have worked. And I don't know if now is the best time. Okay. So let me think. We talked about like basically 2 parts to our business. And then, here's what I love to look at. Who are the people in Plexus that are developing golds and or going gold right now? I always want to know, okay, what are those people doing and what are those people saying? Because success leaves clues. And this is what I love about this business, is we don't have to be the originator of all the ideas. I have been in over my head with, 7 kids, homeschooling them. It's a lot. Like, it's a lot. Like, and I feel like everyone on this call or listening to the recording has their version of 7 kids and homeschooling. Maybe you have a full-time gig outside the home. Like maybe you are 10, 20 years older than me and have the kids plus grandkids and aging parents season. Like, I don't think life slows down anytime soon. Like it's a lot, but I will just say that, like, it is totally possible and worth it to invest in the work, because the work is worth it. The work is totally worth it. All right. I don't know where I was going with that. I know. Success leaves clues. So when people are developing goals, and that's what I've loved about this business, is like, I don't have to be the creator of all the things. I can look at people that are successful or doing things that I want to be doing in my business, and I can find out what they're doing and then duplicate it. Because that's what the beauty of this business is it's so duplicatable. So it's working for one person. Why can't it work for us too? Right. And so that's what encouraged me in the beginning, is I was like, okay, well, even if I can only be a fraction as successful as 𝗙𝗃𝗃𝗃 𝗀𝗡, I'm going to try to do what she's doing. So anytime I would try to duplicate the amount and like intensity or frequency, of her posting on social media. Anytime she'd go live, I'd be like, oh, that's a good idea. I should go live too. So it wasn't like I was copycatting per se, but I would encourage you, like, if you're in a busy season, like, I don't know if y'all do rally chat or just have like a one-stop shop for like getting posts out. Load your stories, get your posts, get more out there. There's been seasons where I've been way more intentional about posting about the business. And guess what? I have more people come to me for the business when I post more about the business, right? And so I think the thing to remember is, like, this business is so simple and it's easy to duplicate. And, get down on a piece of paper, like, what your things are. Maybe you can't do all the things right now, but could you implement a couple of things, like maybe that your sponsor is doing, or someone that you see in Plexus that's really rocking it? Try what they're doing, and duplicate it, and then see what works, see what you need to tweak to make it your own, right? And then just implement and try things. That's been my motto all along. As far as obstacles, I guess my encouragement to you guys would be, like, newsflash, not everybody does this, and it's okay. And especially if you're reaching out about the business, I feel like I get fewer yeses and more ghosts, more no replies or no thank yous. But I guess I don't feel like that is a bad thing, in the sense, like, especially if they respond back to me with like a gracious no thank you, I can turn that into a referral and just like talk with them more and be like, hey, oh, no worries. If you ever decide to look into network marketing, I would love to be the one to chat with you about it. Or if they tell me no. I'll also say, if you know of anybody, that's the other thing. You can always ask for referrals. Like, hey, if you have anyone in your circle that's looking for an opportunity or they're entrepreneurial, like feel free to connect me with them. I would love to meet them, that kind of thing. So I feel like it plants seeds there. And also I think that we have to proceed with the belief that people are looking for us and we're trying to find those people. And in this gig, we don't often get feedback for what we're doing. And so I think a lot of times we get discouraged because we think, like I'm doing all the things, but like there's no fruit to show for that. But the thing is, you have to think of this as a compounding effect. And so like the sip and see I did yesterday with a level 1 and a level 2, she's almost gold. I was thinking about this, like, what am I doing to develop golds? Oh, I'm showing up. Now, what's that going to look like? Did I get paid for that, like right off the bat? No, but I know how this business works. I get paid in proportion to the compounding effect of my posts, my stories, my messages, the events that we do, because this is the other thing with in-person events, they're so incredibly belief building. And you don't have to know how to do it all. You can be flying by the seat of your pants, kind of figuring out the parachute on the way down, or I should say, whatever, on the way up. You can figure it out on your way, right? You just need to be willing to share your story, answer questions, and then get them started. I remember Jessie Heavily said, we can only help them if we get them started. And so sometimes you just have to ask, like, hey, well, I shared this all with you. What are your thoughts? Like, do you think you want to start this? Okay, so I would say the biggest thing that I've done recently is the system called PLLP, and Brandie will share a little bit about this too, because I totally did it with her. Okay. Hilarious. So Brandie lives locally-ish. I mean, as much as you call country living local, about 40 minutes, 30 minutes away. And I didn't know her. Like, I think Jessie Heavily must have just been like, hey, message 5 people, just go do it. Don't overthink it. So I was like, okay, first 5 people on my list. I got to go homeschool someone. Boop, 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 sent my messages, boom, done. And I didn't think about it. I was like, was it a 17-second message or 28-second? I can't remember. We've sent it around several times because it was just like, I mean, I literally just sent it and then went on my merry way, but it was like, hey friend, I have no idea how we connected, but I just wanted to reach out to you this morning because I have found products that have really changed our life. They've been helpful, on the gut health end of things, immune support, stuff for the kids, blah, blah, blah. I don't even remember what I said. And I was just like, hey, if you be game, I would be more than happy to share more. And she's like, actually, I'm actually in the market for another supplement line. And so Brandie, do you want to unmute and just share a little bit of your perspective on that? And then we can kind of share how I did the PLLP, even though I don't know that you knew I was doing that with you.
No, I didn't. I want to say too, when you reached out to me, something super powerful that I use to this day is you gave me the option to say no. At the end of your clip, you said, if not, that's totally fine. Like, it's almost like you gave me the option to say no instead of just giving me the option to like either take it or don't. Telling people, hey, would you be open to a conversation about these supplements? If so, that would be awesome. If not, that's totally fine too. Let's chat about something else. Like, keep the door open for a friendship, but give them the option to say no. Because if they want to say no, you have given them the option to say it. And it also opens up the conversation of why they're not, like, what is their no? Why are they telling you no? So I think that's really important. But I say that I went divinely, accidentally gold because of the PLLP. And I did not know that I was doing it. It was all by accident. I had never done any sort of thing like this. And I honestly wasn't planning on it either. But Megan had asked me several times after I was having success with the products if I would share with my friends or anybody. She'd be like, you want to share with your mom, your sister? And I just kept telling her no. Like, I don't have sisters. I don't have a mom. I was dropped here by aliens. Like, just stop asking me, like, I don't want to share. And finally I went on a trip. So I have Lyme disease. I'm actually dealing with a lot of chronic Lyme symptoms right now. Thank you, Nerve and Ease, for coming to the rescue. I think we're finally trying to figure it out. But these products have changed my life as far as my health went. But they took a while. I started in July and I had already been on really good supplements and was not really seeing a change. And I was planning on getting my 60-day money back guarantee, just being honest. Around the 6th week of being on the products, my health completely did a turnaround, and I was able to start doing things that I hadn't been able to do in a long time. But we were in Colorado, and I felt so good on that trip that when I came home, I reached out to Megan and I was like, okay, like people need to know about this. And so I started posting it on Facebook. I had been pretty private about my health. I still am. I don't really talk about my Lyme disease publicly for lots of reasons. One, I don't want to get in trouble with using the word Lyme while people know I'm on the supplements, but also I always feel like I'm complaining when I talk about my symptoms. So I'm not open about it. But I told her, like, people need to know about this. And so I made a post. That's the first P. I made a post. You're supposed to go live. I did that in my stories. I started showing up in my stories every single day. I made a list of people that I would invite to a party. That's the L. And then the other P is you host a party. I did those things probably. I still do them. I've never stopped doing that. So I did it probably twice to go gold. So I hosted a party with Megan at my house. And then there were some people that couldn't show up. So I hosted another one the next day and had more people show up. And I went gold in 9 days, I think, somewhere around there. It was really fast. Without knowing what I was doing, without knowing anything about network marketing, without knowing like literally any of it. So do you want me to keep talking about my stretch from gold to senior gold?
Sure. Yeah. Keep going.
Okay. So I do want to point on some things. First of all, the reason that I was able to be successful with any of this is because, as was mentioned earlier, Megan pours into her people. She made me feel so safe and comfortable in sharing this stuff and made me believe things that I would have never believed without being told that. It was amazing. She is a blessing to literally everyone she meets, which is a huge motto of our company, but like she actually lives that. And that's really big for her people. You can be her level 1, which I am. I happen to be her level 1, or you can be her level 7 and not even she may not even get paid from you. She's still going to support you. And I love that about her. But, I started diving into every YouTube training, every diamond documentary. Angie Ambrosetti, I don't know I don't know if she's here or not, but she is a fresh diamond. I started watching her show up like a diamond. And I think at the time she was an emerald or a sapphire, but she showed up like a diamond every single day. And I was like, that's what I want to be. Like, I want to be like her. And she told me, when we were very early on, she's like, even if people don't show up, I still like show up and I work and I do my thing. So she was still planning events. She was still hosting events. And if she was the only one there, she was still making it worth her time. And I thought that was huge. So I have tried like since then to not only be gold and stay gold, to create golds. I am trying to really focus on having those events, whether people are there or not. Now, this summer got really crazy. We didn't host as many, but like this spring, we were trying to, with my team, host something either every other week or every week where people had an option to come. And whether they're current customers, whether they're trying to get new people, bring a friend and you get a prize, like all these things. And that built such huge belief and that built retention, because going gold isn't about going and just finding 19 people and being okay. Going gold is finding those people and keeping them so that you can keep growing. So that was something huge too, is just keeping that belief in them, talking to them daily. We are in a people business. And I was one of those people. I did not want this business. And I, at first, like literally for the first 4 months, did not reach out to people about the business. Since I have changed that, I feel like the trajectory of my people has changed too, because they now have the willingness to reach out to people for the business specifically. I have, she's actually on this call. I have a girl getting ready to go senior gold, and it's because she is not afraid to ask people to work this business with her. She knows the products work. She knows the business works, right? She has seen the potential. And I think that's really huge too in developing golds, is to make them see like, hey, who in your network is good at network marketing that might be looking for something else, or that maybe was a car salesman and might be looking for something else. Like there's so many people that you can reach out to that already have the skills, or like me, who I was a band director and now I'm a homeschool mom. I had zero skills, right? But I know how to love people. That's all you need. And I think that finding those people is really beneficial to getting them. Let's see. Oh, I was going to say something too. I had a lot of struggles going from senior gold to ruby. And I hit that, like, I felt like I was doing this business alone. I didn't have a lot of sharers. It was just me and a bunch of people who were dabbling. And that was really great. I love those people for that because they are still very important in the process of sharing. But I finally, in June, I was at convention and my roommate and I were talking a lot about putting God in our business. And I had always kind of left God out because I felt wrong for wanting financial gain and asking God for that, because and Angie Ambrosetti has talked about this. Jessica Heffley talks about this a ton, and Megan and Justin talk about this a lot. Like, our financial gain is his. And I have blocked that out for so long. Well, in June, I finally started to release that to him. And I really started to pray over my business to reveal the people that I needed to be reaching out to. I went Ruby. I say by myself. That night I was the only one adding people that I went Ruby. I think I had one extra person that brought someone in, but I went Ruby kind of by myself. The next month, I found 3 of my people who are my leaders now, who are going Fast Start Gold, who are going Fast Start Senior Gold. So pray about the people that God needs to hear, like God will reveal to you, I guess. And Lisa Goodwin, she's on this call. She's the one getting ready to go Senior Gold. I was so hesitant to reach out to her, but God kept putting her in my head, like kept saying like, Lisa. And then I went down to the church that we used to attend together. And I was like, I just got to message her, but she was already in network marketing. So I was terrified to like bring that up to her. And she has been such a blessing to me and my team. And I'm just glad that I listened finally. So let God direct your business. Yeah.
Yeah, that is totally what we encourage people with. Like, from the get-go, we just started praying that God would bring people to us that needed the products for the business and or put them on our heart, which means you can't take them off the list if God put them on because you're prejudging, you know? And then there's a scripture in Psalm 90, the very last verse or 2, and it talks about God blessing the work of our hands. And so I just prayed that, like, my life was so busy when I started Plexus, and I just prayed that God would bless the work of our hands and magnify the hours in my day. Because, home with 5 tiny people all the time, like, there's constant needs. And so you know, as a, you feel like you're like ADHD, just trying to get through the day and like feed everyone, keep them alive, and try to work here and there in little pockets as they, get occupied playing Legos or something, right? But anytime I would sit down and nurse the baby, I would message people. I would scrawl names on Post-it notes or scratch pieces of paper. And then when I would sit down, I would like go get my notes from everywhere and go and sit down. So it's okay if you're in a season where it looks really messy. Like, I'm in a season, even still, where it doesn't look beautiful most days, but it's okay. Like, the work is still getting done. And
Can I say something real quick?
yes, please do.
Between Senior Gold and Ruby, I think I sent you a message where I was almost crying. Something had happened in my home and I was really struggling to post and do some things. And it was just a lot of trauma happening. And I kept telling him, like, I'm just so overwhelmed. And he said, Brandie, overwhelm is a choice. Like, you can either choose to be overwhelmed or you can choose to figure this out. And she also got me, Jessica Heffley helped me out with that season too. But it was one of those things where it was like, get out of that funk. You can either do this or you can choose to let overwhelm take you. And I chose the latter. I chose to just go ahead and run with it. But I quote that to people all the time, like, overwhelm is a choice. So much of our day-to-day function is a choice. You can either choose to get your hands dirty and get told no and do all the things, or you can just stop. That's your choice. And I loved that. I still say that all the time.
Well, and look at you encouraging your team with what you were encouraged with and something that you learned from. And like, we're all living life, and there's stressors, there's trauma, there's past things that affect us today, right? And so I think that us being willing to like get in the trenches with people, because this is such a people business. It's, our businesses are impacted by like what's happening in our life. Posting on social media sometimes doesn't feel like the thing like we want to do, because maybe like we have emotions about different things in our life that are happening, right? And so one thing that Brandie said, she said was it your first grade teacher or your kindergarten teacher said, if she ever wanted the whole class to get excited about something, she'd just tell Brandie, because Brandie's been a hype girl since kindergarten or first grade. So I'm like, see how important it is for us to be encouragers, to be vision casters, to be reminders of like what is actually true. Even like with the overwhelm thing, like, yeah, life is hard. Like there's stuff that's overwhelming. But I remember someone encouraging me to like brain dump it, put it down on paper, because often it's like 5 things, not 5 million things that are bothering us. And then sometimes it's just a simple like logistical thing. Like let's look for solutions. Like if I'm starting to notice like, in my life or my business or with laundry systems or whatever, like get it down on paper. Let's figure out a solution, because what's happening now is not working. Right. So we have opportunity to pivot anytime. Well, one thing I'll say about Brandie in that first event that we did at like in her kitchen living room, I walked in, there was a whole room of hens cackling. Like it was such a fun place. I walked in and I'm like, this girl's good. Like, and she just stood up and like owned it. She was like, I love these products so much, I'm selling them. She was just like so bold and so it wasn't like a secret. She was like, this stuff is good. It's, and she was just really bold. But I found out recently that those were not her closest friends. Like that was not her like inner circle. And I think it's so interesting and important to point out that not everybody in your immediate circle is going to say yes to Plexus. They may not right away, and they may not ever. And so we have to be okay with growing a team outside of like our closest friends and family. So anyways, just interesting thing right there. But I will say that putting yourself in go mode is really important. And I've had different seasons in my business where just interesting phenomenon, right? Speed of the leader, speed of the team, right? But when I am in like go mode in my personal recruitment or with development or just even up leveling my posting, the team follows suit. And I think it's because we're relevant, like we're more relevant to our teams and to people that are starting to share, like when they see us talking about things. And I think that it even impacts the retention that we have on our current team. Like if our, customer base sees us like mixing slim and active, and like we like to drink it that way, we're talking about that, or that we're talking about an unsung hero or heroes like Ease and Nerve and why we love them, or Mega X. I was at this event yesterday, and one of the girls who's a nurse was actually sharing that she prefers Mega X over Ease. It's plant-based, and also she's like, I can really tell in my joints and how I feel if I'm not taking my Mega X. I thought that was so interesting, but like it's even important to talk about like certain products that we take or our regimens. Talk about it on your team pages or go live in your stories. Brandie's amazing at that. Like and this is what's so simple, is like you don't have to overthink your lives. Like she pops on in the morning and she's like mixing up her greens and like just making her stuff and talking. And she's in the like people have told her like, I love to get on and like watch you in the morning. Like it's so like encouraging and just interesting. And so I think like being willing to like be in front of people. And I think it makes us so relevant to our teams too, because they see us not just telling them to do it, but like we're walking the walk, right? And not just talking about it or telling them what to do or what we once did. We're actually still in the trenches. And I think we also can just say, hey, go post this post. It totally worked for me. Try it. Okay. Or, hey, I just sent this message out to 5 people. You can be brave and send it out to 5 people too. Go try it. Let's just see what happens. Okay. I love saying, let's see what happens. And, the Brooke Hemingway little phrase is, I don't know, might be fun. So try those little end of method, because it keeps it so light. Like Brandie was saying, I totally gave her an out if she wasn't interested. And I've told so many people, I'm like, hey, if you are not interested, I am not offended in the least. Like, you're not going to hurt my feelings. You can totally tell me no, but I thought of you and here's why I thought of you. Right. And so I feel like it's always good to give people an out. And the last thing I wanted to say really quick is that anyone on this call can grow by 100 points. So you can essentially go gold again. So I'm going to let you in on a little secret that I did when I was stalled out at about 2,000 points. I was solidly emerald, but I expected my trajectory to go straight to diamond. So I went emerald in March of 2015, totally expect to be sapphire and diamond by the end of that year. And I totally wasn't. And so what I did was at the end of that year, I remember Jessica telling us, she's like, if you want to rank up this next year, she's like, you need to add 10 new level 1s by March. And so my Megan brain went, okay, well, she told us 10 level ones by March. I'm going to do 10 level ones each month. And that was a stretch goal for me. I know some people are like crazy high recruiters. I mean, I can do 3 to 6, like that, you know, just with posting and reaching out here and there, you know, I can recruit and, you know, I can fill the funnel right back up. But 10 is a stretch. 10 is a big stretch. And it means more conversations, maybe more events, maybe doing more uncomfortable things, right? But what happens when I haven't been in go mode, and this is the 𝗙𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃 concept. So if you have not ever listened to how to recruit 30 people, what is it? Yeah, how to recruit 30 people in 30 days or whatever it is. That call was really good. And the couple of times that we haven't intentionally done that in our Plexus business, it like there's been another wave of momentum, another like spark for it's just been a catalyst for like the next wave of momentum. And it's not necessarily those 10 people that end up doing something. A lot of times it's either people that come to us, because I think there's something that happens when you set the intention to grow your business or to recruit new leaders or to develop some more gold legs. Because I think our energy and the way we show up is different. Our intention is different. The spirit behind what we're doing is more motivating. I think it's attractive and magnetic to people. And so I decided to do that. And I also, this is maybe something to try. Okay. I tricked my brain, right? I just told my brain, not them. I told my brain, okay, pretend you don't have a team. Okay. So I had, you know, 2,000 points, but I'm like, okay, I'm going to just put them over here. They can be fine for a little while. And I'm going to pretend I have 0 points in my back office. And what am I going to do first? And so for whatever reason, like telling myself that got me into like focus mode, because sometimes I think we can get so wrapped up with doing Plexus things, thinking about Plexus things, doing things that are important, but don't necessarily grow the bottom line and bringing new people in, new customers, new brand ambassadors, you know, and it's just a different mode, right? We switch it into high gear, right? And so that really served as a catalyst, because we ended up going sapphire and diamond that next year. It wasn't till May we went sapphire, and then diamond was a huge push, but that's a story for another day, in September of that year. And so that, like me as a leader deciding that I'm going to pretend I don't have a team, I'm going to go put myself back into go mode and then work on growing to gold. And I know Genevieve teaches the 4x4 to gold, which means you're bringing 4 people in and you're helping them each get 4 level ones, which with the Christmas cash, that's great, because even the add 3, like that's fun cash. But when they add 4, they're making like $550 or something. It's crazy when they add that 4th person. And so I do feel like one thing to consider with that is you have to be talking to people about the business, because your average VIP customer, I mean, from my experience, 4 of them, bringing 4 in for the products doesn't mean that all 4 of them are going to add 4 people, especially not in the same month. Okay. So I would say strategy wise with that would be 4 level ones that you're bringing in for the business. Cause then from there, the PLLP can go so much faster because they know that they want to grow an income, right? And so you can work through that post, list, live, party quickly. And then depending on the person, you know, and depending on their influence and how excited they are to do the actions, you can rinse, wash, repeat that. And then they can duplicate that with their people. And so I love the system because it's so insanely simple. Keeps it simple. And for me, it freed me up from thinking like, oh, well, what am I not doing? Well, if I've done the PLLP, I've done the things on my end to help them get as successful as they want to be. Sometimes, you know, doing the PLLP, they'll be silver. Sometimes, like with Brandie, she went gold. You don't know, right? Until you start to work with someone and you figure out their pace and what they want. The other thing that I think is so interesting is that Brandie didn't need an income opportunity, but she has reasons for sharing with people. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, Brandie, real quick? Because I think that's really interesting.
I have children walking in the house. Yeah. And so that actually, so I am going to say, Angie has talked about this too, that Angie 𝗙𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗃 that I talked about. When your husband owns a company and people know your last name, they know like what you do, it's really hard to share sometimes because it's like, I don't want people to think that I'm just trying to make money off of them. So we really changed the wording and the mindset. Actually, when I say we, I had to, but Megan really pushes this in her team. And then I have done this with my own team. You're not here to make a sale. You are here to help somebody, whether you're helping them with the product or you're helping them with the business, you're helping them. And that to me, like, completely changed everything. And then I also really think about the mindset of how can I help other people if I'm financially secure? Like what can I do with this if I'm financially secure, right? Once again, it's his money, not ours. But I think that for me, I was really hesitant to share because of that, because I was like, man, I don't want people to think that I'm just out here like trying to make money off of them. When you change the mindset to I'm doing this to help people, that completely changes everything, because you don't want to be that desperate person that's just like begging people to buy from you because you have to make a payment next month. Like that's not the right mindset to begin with. And that's also not going to bless your business. When you're actually thinking of like, how can I help? Who can I help? What am I going to help with this money? I think it's totally changing how you reach out to people, how you respond to people, and all of the things. I don't know if that answered your question for sure, but I think it's definitely interesting to change the mindset of, well, if I get 19 people, I get to go gold and I get to put, $1,600 in my pocket, instead of I just helped 19 people find products that are going to help them. That's just a different way to look at it.
And I think also this is the other thing to think about is like people on your team that you're helping to go gold. It can be a ginormous financial win and help people like massively. Brandie ended up like, because of the way like things aligned with the last leaders retreat contest, she ended up like fast starting gold, and like that's a lot of money. And some families are like really, really tight right now. A lot of families, I would say. And by the end of December, Brandie had made over $10,000, like with the extra cash bonuses. And I mean, she kept going past gold also and was growing. And she ended up earning the Punta Cana contest and sweeping it. She swept it as a brand new gold. And so I think that gives such a vision for what we can help people with from a financial standpoint too, which is so cool. And I mean, that honeymoon that you didn't get years ago, you got to go take with your hubby, which is so fun and encouraging.
Yeah. And on top of that, like, so because we have been financially blessed, we have actually been able to, I've been able to help my husband's business a little bit more. And I've never been able to do that, but I now cover all of our groceries. I take care of all of our tithing at church. There's a lot of things that I am able to do with my income as a Ruby that I wasn't able to do before. I was just pouring, I was just getting some out of I call it my sugar daddy, I was just getting some from him. And now I do feel like I have a little bit to contribute. And I felt that way as a gold. I definitely feel that way as a senior or as a Ruby. But even as a gold, that was more money in my pocket than I had in 5 years, because I hadn't worked since I had children. I used to be a band director too. And I have now, as a band director, I was working at a private school, so I wasn't quite up to what public schools pay, but I am making more money now than I did as a band director. And I think that is incredible, because I loved band director. Do not get me wrong, but it was hard work. And I was gone from 7 a.m. until 10 p.m, especially this time of year when we had marching seasons, football games, parades, competitions, all the things. Now I work with my kids on my lap, on my phone, and I'm still matching that income. And I think that's pretty incredible.
Yes. Okay. So Andrea, Becky, anyone else that has questions, feel free to pepper us for a couple minutes.
I want to get off this call and know that I fully understand the PLLP, because I love a simple system. And it's not rocket science, but it's so easy to remember. So tell us the magic sauce, either one of y'all. The magic sauce in the first post is, is there always like hey, this is your first post that you're going to handhold people to?
Well, Brandie posted before I sent her what to say. So
which I love, right? Like, give me the self-starter any day. but not
I
everyone's
love
a
that.
self-starter.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the person. There
Yeah.
are some people, their authenticity is going to bring a large number to them. And I personally, I want to see that. If I'm going to buy something from someone, I do want to see the authenticity of them. But then on the other hand, people are looking for gut health products. So even if they are too scared to like share their own story publicly, if you give them, say, like, post your picture and we will help you, like, share with us the 3 wins, like 3 major points that has helped you. We can make a post with those 3 wins and make it for them with their picture. People are looking for gut health. And we just tell them, like, and I'm saying this because Megan has taught it to me. I tell people, you have no idea how many people in your circle could benefit from this. And we make a post.
Absolutely. I love that. I love the 3 wins, but I'm 100% with you on the authenticity, that it's an attractive agent. What about the live? I know my team, man, we try to cheer on anyone who goes live. I think people are used to people going live, but I also think there's a way to kick off a live that ensures you keep people on it. Do you guys make any recommendations with your team members for how to go live?
So I always encourage people to start in their stories, because you can go back and edit them or delete them if you hate it. Like, some people might overthink that, but for me, it's like, if I keep my kids out of all Plexus posts. You will not see their faces on anything Plexus related. So if I have a kid show up right here, while I'm on a Facebook Live or something, I can't get rid of that. Where in my stories, I can. So I always have people start in their stories, but I have girls, actually, there's a child getting ready to walk through right now. I have girls who are going live in private groups that they have made every single week. They host a live and they either have somebody hop on with them, or they just do it themselves, talking about a featured product, or like, hey, they're actually giving away this cup this month and I can tell you how to earn it, and things like that. They're going live in private groups. And that kind of takes the fear out of going public, right? They have made groups where they put all of their potentials in. Anybody they've reached out to, anybody that accepts the invite, they put them in that group. And then we have other people who are just willing, where are you? Who are willing to go live on their private page too. And that to me is exciting as well. Like, that's, so yeah, I don't think there's any right or wrong way. I was so scared to go live on my personal Facebook that we'd now count. I don't know if I'm the reason for this, because I'm such a chicken. We now count our stories as lives too, because it is a way of promoting, and it does on Facebook. Now it does show up on your wall or on your feed. So it's not like secret, but going live is going to affect more people, because if they're scrolling through, they're going to see your live, but your stories are there for 24 hours too. So,
yeah,
And
I
so
feel like
then, go ahead,
your-
Megan, sorry.
Yeah. No, I feel like some people I know, or I sometimes am like, I don't know if they'll go live on their wall. So sometimes I will actually just say, hey, during the event, I'm going to do all the heavy lifting for our little online event tomorrow night. But what I would love for you to do is actually hop on first, because your network is going to connect with your face more than mine initially. And so if you can just welcome everybody, share a little bit about why you started the products, what you're looking forward to, or, if they're in the medical field, be like, leverage that, like, as a medical professional, like, why you think supplementation is so important, and just be like, okay. And then feel free to like interact with the comments and, like the post, ask questions. So they're basically like kicking off the little event. So typically, if I haven't gotten them to go live, or I think that they have a fear, might have a fear with that, I'll have them go live in their event first. And then the other thing that I've done is sometimes we go live together. Sometimes, if they're local to me, my friend Margaret came over and we just did a live in my living room from her. Actually, we had both videos going. So I had her phone set up and mine, and we just kind of chatted back and forth for a good 10 minutes about her product experience so far and why she was excited to do it. And then sometimes you can actually go live and invite someone on live with you, and it'll split the screen. So that's another option too. If you have someone that's willing, but they're like, can you do it with me? And you don't live close, that's a perfect option also. So I feel like there's different ways of doing it, but anytime that I've gone live, I always get more interest. I think it does something different with the algorithm. Also, it's 1,000% more relational than a post. And I know we've chatted and had heard some training recently about, I think it was Marianne Anderson that was talking about relational versus transactional posts. And she is such a queen of hopping in her stories and talking about the opportunity every single day. Rinse, wash, repeat. It's so simple. You're either going to hear her talk about her run that she did, and you're going to hear her talk about the opportunity with Plexus. And so I think just keeping it super simple in light of that. But I did send some verbiage about the first post. And so I typically will either have them do the proverbial first post, like, hey friends, I'm so excited about these all natural supplements I just started. It's helping me with XYZ. And I helped my friend Megan with XYZ. Curious if anyone in my circle is looking to get healthier before the holidays. Boom, done, easy peasy, right? Another little tweak on that is to send a little message and say, hey, would you be willing to do this little shout out post for me? And then send it. Actually, don't wait to hear a yes or no, just send it. And then do a little, arrows like, hey, here's what it can be. Let me know if you're game, tag me. Let's just see what happens. With my friend Brooke, I actually said, because she joined for the business, but then was like scared to post. So like a couple days later, I was like, hey, let's make that post. I think I probably sent her, something that she could post. And then I said, I double dog dare you. That's Jordan Roddenberry's little quip. So if you feel close enough to the person that you're trying to get to post, you could like, nudge them a little bit, like double dog dare you. I promise you won't die. So sometimes that little nudge is all they need to just like, okay, true. I'm not going to die. I'll do it. And we'll see what happens.
I love that. Okay, we've got like just 2 minutes left. Let me ask you guys this party. I think, and I know Amber Zetti's on here, and I remember hearing her speak to the Diamonds this year at convention. There's just something about an in-person event. It can be the in-person, like 4 people at a coffee shop or something in your home. You don't have to rent space. Like there's just something about that. But when you are not in the same town or not even 40 minutes away locally to your level 1 that's wanting to grow, is there any magic sauce that you guys are seeing with online or virtual events? I know, Megan, you mentioned that like if you're hosting a messenger group or something, that you'll ask your person to go live or like make sure that their personal experience or personal expertise or whatever it is getting shared. But is there anything else that you guys would say this is a key element for online events?
I like groups still. I mean, I know messenger events have their spot and some people really love them. I don't think there's a right or wrong. Like, I think there's certain seasons when it's like when you make a post and like you get a ton of interaction and then you try it the next week and it's like, nothing's happening. So I kind of feel like some are a total bust and some are like off the charts incredible. Sometimes you host an in-person sippancy and like one person or no one shows up. But I always feel like that I tell people like they're like no worries. Like, hey, you got 100% sign up rate. That girl that came, she signed up. You just never know. Like, and it's totally fine if it's a smaller group. We've never had huge sippancies, and that's totally fine. But I will say that I think it's like the willingness to do them, and it's like a book study or attending convention or Super Saturday or doing vendor events, or it's just like the commitment to doing them has a compounding effect. So it's not like one vendor event is going to make or break your business or one in-person event is going to make or break it. It's like being willing to continue to do them because it's going to catch the momentum and the right people are going to show up on those events, and we get practice. That's the other thing, we get practice posting, telling our stories. And I feel like after every event, like they're all their own unique thing because everyone is different, right? But you can pivot like, okay, I liked this about this, we need to do this a little differently next time. So I feel like each event has its own learning curve too. But I don't think there's a right or wrong. I mean, I'm hosting, so this week, we have several in-person events locally. And we're going to try to we're like trying to invite other local people, like Sideline Sisters, like if you have people in this particular town, send them over. Like they can just pop in and learn from, the people that are there. I'm also trying to do some in-person some online events for people that want to share, but maybe they haven't quite worked all through the PLLP, or the P is the last thing they need to do and they're not local. And so like this morning I was messaging my friend Stacy. I'm like, hey, let's do an event for Rebecca. And, we did a Zoom for Stacy. So this time I'm like, why don't we do a little group event for Rebecca. I think that would be really good. And so Zooms are fantastic. Brandie and I do a lot of those. Like we'll host an in-person sip and see, and then we'll schedule a Zoom like a day or two later to catch anyone that couldn't come or that wasn't local. And then we literally do the same thing we did in person, just on Zoom. And it's faster, obviously, but we share stories, give a little call to action, and then try to get them signed up and answer questions.
I love that. Angie also said that in the chat. She said she loves, me too. I think Zooms are even more personal than a messenger event. I love that basically it's like, hey, throw spaghetti at the wall, do some kind of event, some kind of party, something's going to stick, just see what sticks. Y'all, thank you so much for giving like your team's time and experience. Brandie, thank you for getting on. I'm excited for you. Angie, thank you for getting on as well. And Megan, I just really respect you for building such a strong community. I think I have listened to so many of your team calls. You probably don't even know this. We've like shared them around in some of my smaller chats. So, thanks for sharing your team with us. And, Andrea and I are thrilled. We love these kind of calls because what we want is to have this gold explosion happening for the rest of the year and into the new year for everyone that's listening and partaking. Guys, happy Monday, happy end of the month. This next month is going to be like baller. So whatever you do now, like Megan keeps saying, is going to have a compound effect on next month. So get in gear, act as if, lean into it. We wish you all kinds of favor and growth on your team. Have a great Monday, and we'll see you later.